Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM22 Youth Factory. This is episode 53 after our draw to open the season against Sondel, where it looked like, hey, we might be able to hang in this league because there's definitely some nerves that we could be a rubber band. We could be a yo-yo here, and we're picked dead last. We're picked dead last for the league, and I don't believe that that's accurate, but only marginally so. Uh, it's a big step up to the second tier, and from what I've seen, it's a big step up to the first tier, but that's a whole nother matter. I think we are in for a challenging season, or at least I thought that. At the moment, not looking so bad. One of the other relegation favorites is Steybeck, and that is who we played on the road in our second game of the season, and it was 4-0. 4-0. Yeah, wow. Big showing on that one. So, really happy there. Great team effort. Andreasen with 2 goals, Bergam with 2 goals, really high ratings. Jonas Gay, 9.2 rating without even scoring, so presumably numerous assists there. But it was 3-0 inside half an hour before Andreasen sealed it in the 79th minute, even though it was probably sealed by that point anyway. Next up is a quite winnable Arendelle at home, but this is the senior Arendelle. This isn't the Arendelle 2 that we've played. It's Arendelle. It's the top Arendelle. It's the professional side, so maybe not so winnable after all. This is where we begin our real tests. Those half the league is professional and half the league is still semi-pro. It's that half of the league, that professional group, where probably 6 out of those 7 are really good and only 1 out of the semi-pro or second tier teams, where only 1 of those is professional and on the struggling side of things. So that's where the big tests begin. So this is where we're headed next. It's only the 3rd game of the season, but this will really set the groundwork, set the tone for whether we stand much of a chance this season of being at least comfortable mid-table. I'm not even thinking about the top end. Just avoiding relegation is all. I don't want to be a yo-yo club because it was hard enough to get up here. Took enough years as it was. We do not want to be bouncing right back down. I'm leaving Homedale on the bench, at least for now, but I want to get him in for at least a half an hour. I'm just trying to work him into the club a little bit slowly. And a lot of that has to do with that we are still dealing with Gillo's injury. So with Gillo out, that means Fawoli in at center back, and that means our other young talent is on the pitch. I'm trying to work them in one at a time. So Janssen playing, starting in that defensive mid role, as we've already had a giveaway, but Jonas Gay recovers quickly to get the clearance on that one. And the game is underway. Corner kick, Bergam to take it. Inside the first 5 minutes, doesn't beat the first man. Second man would have had it as well, so that was not a good corner. Over the top for Andreasen, through for Bergam, and we are up 1-0 on Arendelle. Nicely done. Janssen, excellent find to get Andreasen in space when nobody nearby was open. And then Bergam just outruns the defense as Andreasen. Great touch on that one. Excellent cross. And it's an early lead. 0.5 on the XG already. 4-0 on the shots. 77% possession. Early on, at least, it's total control for us as we are on the front foot. Eventually, that they're going to start to pick up those possession numbers. They will work their way into the game. But at least at the moment, things are looking good. Janssen, good pass there. Tracking back a little too deep, I think our forwards are at the moment. Uleberg finds Bergam. There's that nice through ball for Andreasen. Finds Janssen, who turns, and ooh, that was awfully close. Awfully close. That did not miss by much. Live table actually has us on top of the league at the moment. That is obviously a shock, but come on. It's the third game. And others have not played. Oh, Lavash should have scored there, but that's blocked. Andreasen tries to earn the penalty. Doesn't get it. I think that's a good tackle. Steybeck losing pretty badly again. Mjondalen easily outscoring them. So I think this is more of a situation of our opposition in that last game was awfully weak. Good save there from Moen. One-on-one with a decent enough angle that they should have scored on that one. 8-3 at the half in terms of shots. The XG absolutely favoring the fact that we do have a goal, have earned a goal, and they are far from it. 60-40 on the possession at this stage. They had somebody go off injured in the 30th minute. They've got a couple of yellows, but things are looking up for us. Hopefully we can continue the second half. We definitely slowed down. I mean, this was that first 20 minutes, and this is all we amassed the rest of the way, which is about even to what they did the rest of the way. Their first XG didn't even come until the halfway point. They did, as I suspected, work their way into the game a bit. Second half underway. Oleberg not having the greatest of days and a little fatigued, so we'll think about subbing him off here at some point. Lavas also is struggling. Oh, right on the edge. And Severete gets the free header, but he had no angle. I think he went right over top of the bar, and then eventually it landed on the opposite side of the goal. Oh, wow. Come on. That one... Haagensen, I would assume, is the one that's in position there. Yes, it is Haagensen. Haagensen, well, okay, he's marking the other guy. He did not get proper help from Jonas Gay on that one. Gay should have been there, or Janssen should have been there marking that man. They had the extra guy inside, so we don't pick him up, but then even then, Moen, there wasn't much power on that. I think Moen probably could have made a save. As Osby with a tap-in. His first goal of the season, and it's right back into the lead almost immediately. 2-1. Great run. Fantastic run from Ostby. In fact, there was 2 runs going from the midfield through. What awareness. And that's Janssen with the ball over the top. So both of our center mids, Oleberg and Ostby, both make crisscrossing runs straight on through. And as Bergam drops back, he pulls the defenders with him, opening that space for those 2 center mids to make those runs. Fantastic team play on that one. Great job by Gay to keep that ball in, get it quickly under control, and find the open teammate. Nice pass there. Great run through Oleberg. Oh, so close. So close. He does a really good job. The defender got a piece of the ball, but he knocks it free, and it's time for those subs. First, Lavas, you're out. You're having a terrible day. Let's get Holmdale on. We wanted half an hour, and we're under that already. Andreasen is pretty tired, and it's only 2-1, though, and he's having a really good game, so I think I'm going to leave him on. Oleberg is definitely doing better. Let's start with just the one substitution, and we're also going to tactically get a little bit behind the ball here. We'll go balanced. Nice play from Bergam. You'd think we should be up by more at this stage with how well we've controlled this game. One mismatch in terms of marking, and they get a goal. And yet we've been in control throughout. Ooh, bad giveaway on that one. Good, well-timed run. I think he was just onside on that. Corner kick. Bergam doesn't beat the first man. That's his issue. Nice pass, and ooh. What's the call? Maybe offside for Bergam, not getting quite back onside. I thought he had gotten back, but it was tight. Janssen, great ball over the top for Andreasen. Inside to Holmdale. Earns the corner. Okay, 74th minute. Not yet. wait a little longer. Okay, Andreasen is pretty tired. We've got a good sub in Modeste. Let's go ahead and get him on. Even though Andreasen's having a good day, the fatigue factor on that one, plus the time factor, and now we are far enough in. Let's go ahead and start the moderate time wasting. And Oleberg back to a little bit of a struggle. Maybe it's time to bring on Hermansen, who's a little more defensive-minded than Kelsey is. That out for the corner kick. That one headed away. And let's go full on with the time wasting. Let's also drop the line back a little bit and get a little more compact. No yellow cards, so go ahead and get stuck in. And let's go ahead and go cautious. Just make sure we're behind the ball. Nice possession here. Really nice ball work. Great through ball, Bergam. Wrong angle, so good pass. Ooh, close. And that goes out of bounds, so that helps with the timing. And we're into the last 30 seconds. Hermansen with possession. Now Haagensen. Moen, what are you doing, buddy? You give the ball back to them for no reason. You have no pressure. That is a terrible, terrible play from Moen. And now they have a dangerous free kick, but Osby is going to head that away. Knudsen was offside. And we're good. 3 points. 3 points. I'll take it. Control just about maintained through the second half. You can see a fairly balanced second half in terms of the XG picture. They got a little more than they deserved, but so did we. In terms of the actual XG, only 5 shots on target. They ended up with 4, only +3 on the shots. But we always looked the better team throughout the game. I mean, that one moment where they scored was that mismatch in they drew the defender to mark one man, and that left one guy open a little bit off the ball. Fairly close header that didn't have much power to it, that wasn't perfectly placed. Moen probably should have done better with it, and I think that's one key reason why his rating is, well, not great. Overall, good team performance. Lavas had a bit of a difficult day. Haagensen had a little bit of a difficult day, but I think he picks up a little bit too much blame because he was already marking somebody. I think Jonas Gay should have been dropping in, or Janssen should have been dropping in to mark that man. But otherwise, yeah, good performance. And Fulwoli, not his position. Technically, he's playing out of position, though. I mean, he's good enough as a center back. Enough. I think he's a better option than Jakobsen. But, yeah. I think ultimately he's a defensive mid, so we are a little thin here. We're a little thin, and Haagensen's learning on the job, so it's all good. Umdahl did better than Lavas. We saw more from him in that 23 minutes. Only 2 teams with a game in hand. Ranheim, though, as one of them, could go right back to the top of the standings. That is irrelevant because I'm not thinking about that at all. We've only played 3 games. We've had 2 out of 3 against relegation favorites, or at least 1 relegation favorite and 1 lower table and 1 mid-table team. So we haven't exactly had a difficult start. We've had 2 home games. Scheduling wise, we've had a fortunate run to open the season, at least in terms of the schedule. Regardless, 7 points is a good start. With 15 opposition teams in this league, we're looking at a 30-game season, which means we're looking at, you would say, minimum 30 points for survival. We'd probably be quite satisfied with 40 points this season, and we've already got 7, with 27 still to play. So that is a fantastic start. Really, really happy with that. Let's go ahead and push forward a ways and see where we wind up, because at least at the moment, on the surface, things are looking good. But what happens in 4 games? Are we still sitting on 7 points as the opposition gets a little bit tougher, or are we going to grab some additional points along the way? If we have 4 points out of the next 4, I would obviously be thrilled, because that would keep us continuously on rate to have at least 1 point per match, which is, above the drop zone, meaning we'd probably be looking at mid-table. I don't even know who the opponents are. Regardless, if we're getting 1 point a game, we should be okay. When you add in that we've already gotten better than 2 points a game through the first few matches, that's going to equate out to something mid-table like. So this stretch could have gone a bit better than it has. It hasn't been a terrible stretch. We just went through the month of May. 5 total matches, one of those third round cup match against Start 2, familiar foe, on the road. Controlled the game but could not score in regulation, so it went to penalties where we won 5-4 on penalties, and we got through that one. But otherwise, the league stuff, not so great. 4 matches, 2 draws, so only 2 points, though all of it was close, and that's a good sign. On the road at Jerv. Jerv is definitely one of those top teams. I think they just missed promotion last season, and we only lost 1-0. Grorud, goalless at home. We just about edged that game, but a draw seemed the right result. Then we went on the road to Tromsø 2. We should have beaten them. We controlled the game, but we just could not get the goals we needed. They even had somebody sent off late, but they had got that equalizer in the early part of the last half hour, and it finished at 1-1. We then go home against Kristiansund, and this was a weird game. We controlled possession, we had better XG, and they outshot us on a ratio of 3-1. So they were getting lots and lots of poor chances. We made the best of fewer chances, even though we had much better possession. We just couldn't convert it to goals. And out of all of those half chances over and over and over again, or quarter chances for Kristiansund, they managed to get 1 goal out of them. And fairly late, 73rd minute. One notable thing of this stretch and of the season so far is we are averaging 1,500 fans. Not total, but we are putting 1,500 fans in seats game after game after game. The opposition brings their own away fans as we're getting higher up. That is becoming a higher number than what we had seen, especially in the fact that there's only a couple teams in the entire division that are second teams. And you could see that they struggle. Just 36 in attendance against Tromsø 2. Total. 24 of those were ours. They had 12 fans in seats. They couldn't even get their family to come watch the game. 1,500 fans plus anywhere from a couple thousand additional in the case of Grorud to about 500 to maybe even 1,000 with everybody else. Means we've pretty much doubled what our attendance was a year ago, but that's not going to make up the extra 150,000 in terms of debt. So we are going to need to address the finances somehow or another. If you forgot, I'm sure you haven't, or if you skipped past the couple times I've talked about it, we had a sudden and huge increase in our youth setup. We went from 30,000 a month, which is expensive already, and why we've been talking about finances so much throughout this series, but it went from 30,000 to 180,000 per month just because we got promoted. And no other reason. We're not suddenly getting a whole new quality of player. We're just in a higher division. That extra 150,000 debt that we are accumulating every month, doubling our attendance, is getting nowhere near making up for it. It's the 31st of May. Let's go ahead and push forward one day, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this game is so messing with my head. Here's what I'm talking about, though. Total expenditure: 254, 226, 218, 271 last month. So you can see where we are topping out at, and that is 7 months out of an 8-month period. And then we had one oddball in between where we were back down to normal expenses. All of a sudden this month, it's back down to 135. Why? The youth setup is not at the 180, nor is it at the 38 we were always at. It's at 46. Now, if it's at 46 every month, which you better believe that's not going to be the case, I have no idea why it's fluctuating the way it is right now. But with it down to a reasonable number, and our income is rising now that we are doubling our attendance, we made a profit. This was our first profitable month since a full year ago. So a year ago was the last time we had a profitable month. We've had nothing in the last 12, and you can see we only had a couple months that we didn't take huge losses. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, if the run of crazy increased expenditure is over, and if we are settling in at 46K a month being the new regular in terms of youth setup cost, we'll be okay eventually. I mean, we've accumulated a lot of debt in a hurry, because from where we were with a positive balance a year ago, we're $800,000 in debt. But if we make a slow progress, if we make $10,000-$20,000 a month profit, obviously in time, we'll be okay. But we can't afford this to be the norm, because it has been. What was that? 7 out of 8 months, which now means 7 out of 9 months. We've had this huge running cost that we cannot keep up with. The income is definitely better, but we've seen spikes before. Mostly the spikes, though, this big spike that you see here, that's one per year. That is our yearly sponsorship, which has not changed in the last 3 years. It's been identical the last 3 years. It was slightly up from where it was the previous couple of years. Remember, we were in the same tier for the last 5 years, so we're only just now going up. So maybe this coming year we'll announce some new sponsorships and see another increase to that. But that big spike was only happening one at a time. This big spike here, that was the administration. That was where we, just after we came out of administration. That was the couple players we sold. That was Arsend and who's the other one we ended up selling? Whoever the other one was, that was the income from those two sales. And then I think we had our cup run where we made a little bit of money in here, where we were able to get a lot more fans in seats, and that was income that came from those. So that's what these little spikes are. But you can see, compared to all the previous years, the only spike you were getting was the yearly sponsorship. But suddenly the last couple months, we are making seriously more money now that we're in the season. So if we can maintain that going forward throughout a season, and if the youth setup settles at 46,000, we're okay. But I don't like our chances of that, because 7 out of the last 9 months, it's been significantly higher. So how things stand at the moment is we've played 7. We have 9 points total. Now, I was hoping to get 4 points from the last 4 matches, but we only managed to get 2. There's not much in that. I mean, it's not that difficult for any one of those. One more goal changes that whole outcome. Either we're at 3 points from 4, or we are at 4 points from 4 with just a single goal, because all of it was tight. We were only a -2 during that stretch. But ultimately, we had 2 losses and 2 draws, and we only managed to get 2 points. So it does show that, yeah, we are kind of still looking at the relegation battle being our primary place of existing. The good news, though, is from 7 matches, we've scored 9 points, which means we are averaging a little bit better than a point a game overall over the course of the season. The easier stretch combined with the harder stretch puts us there. From that, where I think we've played one more away game than home game, as one notable thing on that. From that, with a positive goal differential at the moment, +3, you would figure we're just about on track for something mid-table. Not higher mid-table, but, closer to mid-table. Out of the relegation zone, but not by much. Really looking at this, you can see why that seems to be a pretty strong place to be. 1, Sundale. Still only the 1 draw. They've won every other match they've played. That draw was against us. They're perfect 6-0 against everybody else and starting to pull clear. Ranheim, 5-1-1, also starting to pull clear. But then it starts to get pretty tight. Mjøndalen, Sandefjord have done slightly better than the others, but they're not far ahead. But from Bryn on down to last place, there's only a 4-point gap at the moment through 7 matches. A 4-point gap is really small after 7 matches. From 5th to 16th, that's really tight from first to last. Nobody is getting blown away in terms of goal differential or anything like that. Jerv, who had a great season last year, right now sits at the bottom of the standings. So there's, maybe they didn't have a great season last year. Maybe I'm fooling myself on that part. But anyway, we, at the moment, are only 2 points above the drop. But I told you 1 point per match is probably going to be the relegation zone. And look, they're Grorud, Steybeck, right at 13th, 14th on 7 from 7. So as long as we can keep our head above water, above that 1 point per match ratio, we're okay. Of course, we've slipped a bit over the last 4 matches, but I think that's more about the schedule than anything else. We are going to need some results. I'm absolutely going to have to get involved and play some matches, I think, to help keep our heads above water, because the team always plays better when I'm managing them than when it's the AI controlling them. Therefore, we got to watch out. Next up, on the road at Ranheim, who sits 2nd, so don't expect to get anything from that. We'll probably be at 9 points from 8, and going from there, I'll probably pick and choose some matches coming up that we might have a better chance at grabbing some points from, just to help with that. Keep above the relegation zone, stay happy. Mid-table would be a good result for our first year here in the 2nd tier in the Obos-ligaen. That is going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.